To all my strong souls out there. This is going to be a little coffee chat. I've been brewing this talk in my head for the past few days about healing and the physics of healing to explain it in the physics of what is going on in our reality and how we're able to override certain consciousness levels in these bands. And then what we didn't know is the amount of energy that comes from a healing. And I want to talk about that and the difference between healing and clearings because they're different. So I'm going to do my best to kind of go through this as best I can. I know my markers are getting kind of dull, so I hope y'all can see this. And I got my coffee here, so grab your coffee. We're just going to open up and chat about this on this Saturn day, because today's Saturday. So it's Saturn's day. And Saturn is all about what? Do we know? Do we know what Saturn does? And I'm going to talk about the China balloons at the end of this, because I'm going to explain to you why they're up there. And what we're doing right now on this video in order to make sure that our consciousness overrides China, Russia, whoever else is involved with that, who might have a sneak peek into the information that I'm talking about. So let's have a cup. Cheers to February. We made it to February. We're out of the J month. Now, first, real quick, since I know a lot of y'all only come in for a few minutes and don't stick around till the end, this is one I would. If you're having any type and around what we're seeing, because we've already gone through all of these physical healings in these units, in these, I call them halos. Okay, I've gone through all of them out to the 55th dimension. And I might even change the title of this to what is a starseed. Right now, depending on, because no matter who you are, you've got to come through this whole thing and get back to the middle. The energy's birthed in the middle, because that's you. You're the sun. You are. That's tomorrow. That's Sunday. You're the sun. All this plasma that is blowing off of what they are saying is the sun, and we're watching it, and we had that comet that flew by, and right, that's because the human energy overrided some type of seal. Now there's different seals out here that were formed by different intention in order to hold down an energetic in a bubble on a walking plane. Because remember, this is why in Egypt it's so as above, so below, as above, so below. You can't say it enough. It's a basic terminology, but as above, so below. So if we've got a China balloon out there moving around and everybody's going, oh, they're stealing this and stealing that. Okay, well then what's going on below? What's going on inside that's going to be able, why they'd even do it? Why would they even put up that magnet? Okay. Now, right now, what we're seeing, there's a couple of things, headaches for sure. I had a roaring headache yesterday, and so did my adopted mom, and it was like fire. It's nervous system. So the headache wasn't a pulsing migraine. More so, it was like a burning that was just in my bones. I could feel it all in my jaw, I could feel it all up in my head. So let me know if y'all are having and experiencing any body stuff in the chat, because that also helps me track this and helps get the information out to the consciousness. What that is that you're connecting, your computer is now connecting into a different current, a higher current, because this bubble's fixing to go, I'm fixing to draw some more. Okay. This is just your bubble. So whenever you're going into these different rings, if you will, as you're birthing out, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a second, your body will have to override that energy ray in some way. It's like putting new gasoline into a motor, right? We can with the cars right now that we have, we can make a gasoline that is not made as gasoline from underneath the earth, and it's not electric, but it's made off human energy, because that's what the other two are made off of. And we can even put little bitty tinkers on the current motors and change them up to where they're going to get their horsepower from a new gasoline. But we can't turn on that motor completely and with the new gasoline, with the new fuel, until we shut it down and clean it out. When we shut it down and clean it out, which is what a healing is, when you shut it down and clean it out, then your body's going to move up in vibration, and it's going to move into whatever the next level is, where your body is, not your consciousness. Your body is going to come up to that consciousness, and it might hit something. It definitely will. Headaches can trigger one of them a lot. That's how I ended up in the chamber when I was 11 years old, because I had such horrible migraines in the 70s, and I know a lot of us did. Now we know it's because we were in a pressure chamber. So headaches. The other one is stomach. We've seen it happen. First, there's in this last. Now, first of all, and I've talked about this before, if you get diarrhea all of a sudden, it typically is dealing with the moon and moon magic. I know that we're full moon coming up, if it's not, shortly. When any type of seal breaks, okay, from a clearing, or if there was some type of magnetic attachment because you got a healing 3 months ago, maybe it could have been 3 months ago that you got a healing, or you met that person and y'all healed each other, because we're going to talk about that. Because it takes a full year for your body and your infrastructure to completely catch up with the consciousness that you went to. Okay. It happens in stages, almost like a marshmallow man. So if there's any type of moon magic that's been done to us, because it was a collective spell that has been going on down here every 10 years in the reverse. So this last one that we got, when that cuts for you and the children, especially if your children have had just diarrhea out of nowhere, that's what's happening. Now, what I've seen with this last one is constipation first, almost like a backup is happening. So if you're experiencing any type of constipation, it's going to immediately follow with a deluge of diarrhea and burning acid in your stomach. And with the children, there's little things that you can do and use your water, get a glass of water, tune the water to break it up, tell the water to break it up, whatever in your stomach. That acid, we know now, is attached to money energy and the holding of money energy. We'd be driving around when I was out having to go everywhere to connect into the land, because that's why I was driving everywhere. I wasn't flying, I was driving. And I would just go past a mountain or something that, especially in California, I'd make a curve in this computer, because when you're driving around, you really are, once you've activated this whole thing and connected to what I'm fixing to draw next, you really are like a Matrix code eater, like Pac-Man. That's where Pac-Man came from. So when your energy, boom, hits that grid, it'll break one of these seals for the entire Milky Way. I mean, we're in the Milky Way right here. Star seeds come from, the mega ones come from outside the Milky Way, but we live in archangles of Antares to Gemini, and then Pisces down to Virgo now. See, it used to be Leo. It's off a little bit. See, now Regulus is in Virgo. So we live in this bubble. Now that don't mean that the outside of the bubble wasn't controlling the inside. Okay. So that is kind of a little bit of what we're seeing going on with body stuff. So give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the chat if y'all are experiencing anything. I know a lot of y'all don't talk when you come on here. Please do. Now, healings require a giver and a receiver. Okay. And I'm talking about any type of healing that you might pay for, anyone that you might go to a seminar, you might meet somebody at the grocery store. I mean, us ascended that have been on mission were our bubbles were placed around town at the bar in the middle of Hermosa. I'll give you an example. I was at Hermosa Pier, and this is a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden I knew I needed to go outside. So I got the call to go outside, and they have wings painted on a building, and there's this relatively young 30-something-year-old woman in a wheelchair in front of those wings, and I knew in the moment I saw her that that's why I was there. And they were taking pictures, and I looked at her friend and I said, "What happened?" And he said, "She had a stroke on the day Kobe Bryant's helicopter blew up." Now this is also linked back into China and all that too. And I looked at him, didn't say another word, and I said, "Would you like me to give her a healing?" And he said, "Oh my gosh, can you do that?" I said, "Yeah, I can." So I knelt at her wheelchair, and I tuned into her bubble. Let's take the line out of it. Because here's my bubble. I knew that I could heal. Those of us that are healers, we know my purple is going to be the best bet. We know that we're healers. And how? Because we've already gone through a process of some sort, from healing ourselves, from healing other people, from whether it's you're healing there. Some of y'all aren't body healers. Some of you are more timeline healers. And I'm going to talk about that on here. You get to the point where you're a body healer. This is where all of us have different energy depending on what your consciousness is. Some of you might be money healers and just don't realize it. Now, because her bubble so this is her bubble. Now, her bubble had been distorted. So when we do a healing and I heal, and I know that she's had a stroke now. I touched her knee, and I don't even remember, like, what we do is we tune in. What we're doing is tuning in. So obviously, if this woman had a stroke and she's paralyzed, her bubble has a crack in it. Her bubble has a crack in it. Well, mine does not. Mine's whole. And whatever specialty I keep saying, mine happens to be blood and mine happens to be mind programs and body and energetics. So when I tune to her, what happens is my energy comes through her just like that, quick, comes through her and flushes, because this new energy and the physics of this new energy is not just air. It's not. If you put up reflectors, well, just like when the sun's coming in to a room, and you can see the rays, and you can see the physics making different colors, which those number patterns make colors. Yes, they do. That's what they are. That's how you get color. Is emergent 51 and 61. That's going to give you 51, 61, 51, 61, 51, 61. That's going to give you blue and yellow, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. It is. If I wrote it down, and I've done this on the videos, like, you think that I'm using colored paper, but I'm not. It's got physics on it, and it changes the color. So when I push my energy through her, what my consciousness is showing me is where this hole is. Now, when I push through her, and this is the difference between getting a healing paid for by somebody, okay, and having it for free. Because this is the also big part that us healers didn't realize, and how powerful we were, what we were doing, and then how to protect ourselves from the entanglement. And this is a big piece of why they did false twins and what all that is. So please listen carefully, because that had to do with clearings, not healings. When I go in her energy, then I can see what happened. Now, if she's paying me for it, okay, if she would have paid for that healing and called me up, and we're doing an overall working on her to get her out of that wheelchair for good, then there's gonna have to be a follow-up. There's gonna have to be a consciousness follow-up. Why? Because I saw, when I went through there, where that gap was. And then you if we kept following up and kept following up, because why we have to keep following up sometimes for a little bit for the extremities of somebody in a wheelchair, right? Is because they have to understand what was disconnected, so that they can make sure to connect it, so it doesn't fall backwards, so that they can get up and walk around. Because what we're doing then is solving the problem of what the disconnection is. When If she would have paid for it, okay, then that is the balance point between the giver and receiver. And that's where the alchemy of whatever the barter is. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if she bought me lunch. Or maybe even it's a trade, a healing for a healing. Okay. Even that in our healer community. But if that would have been boundarized, because I'm giving you two examples, right? Then my alchemy as the healer is on the money, not her body. Because when I go through her energy field, I'm in it with her. I'm in it with her till she's done. Now, and this is what everyone that watches my channel, and if you know any healers, I mean, and I don't care if you're a massage therapist, whatever it is, this is number one most important thing to realize right now. Anybody that you have healed, whether you got paid for it or not, you went in it with them, because it's not gonna finish until, because when my body comes in and it's flushing through this, okay, then that means that I'm holding this bubble way out here. Now it's encompassing both of them. So my energy is going in little by little, and it's elevating with this, whoever it is, whatever it is. And then once this gets done, then I'm out of it with her. Well, of course, we don't know. I didn't see that woman again. I don't know exactly what she started seeing and witnessing and feeling right after she already started feeling a little bit more sensation in her legs. Because no matter, I pushed an energy bolt through her that activated her body template and will link her in to a higher bubble strand with new codes that then will start sending her naturally to other healers to determine even ascension. I could have put her into an ascension, because then her soul is going to tell her and guide her to wherever else needs to happen in order to keep that frequency flowing up, because it can't go down, because I'm holding it. So it's like she can't get any smaller than me. Okay? Now, why did we do that? Why did I do that? Why? Because realize that if she would have paid me or bartered with me or done something with me for that, then as the master, as the healer, because I'm the healer, I'm the giver, so I'm the one who's supposed to know how to do this and then clean my energy for it and realize how to keep myself safe and her safe. Right? This is why it's important. Who are you getting healings from? Because if you've been getting healings from a whole slew of people like your whole life, and stuff is going wrong, well then right now call off for all the healers that touched you to be cut from your energy field and everyone sent to balance out. And we call that right now all healings that have been done on this planet and this realm by any healer that was in a bubble that was then keeping the healer down because there wasn't proper alchemy transaction done. We command that those be cut now, and all healers refreshed, and all that took on the healing to now cut, disconnect, so that each bubble can go where it needs to be. Because even if a group over here, if you're one of the ones who just got cut and you went down here, well, that's okay, because now your healer can get up here where she's getting her healing power from, and then naturally you're going to start coming up now too. You don't need to be just self-existent off this healer. Now see, I'm also explaining the O blood type and the AB type. I really am. So that is the biggest, that the reason to, and those of us who activated these stars, 2017, what happened? And I mean, we got stars. I don't even know if you can see them. I mean, and remember, these aren't flat. These aren't flat. I mean, this one's way out here, and this one's down here, and this one's down here, but they all have what? A current. They all send out a current of some energy. Every single star out there. See, I deal with 32. Two of them aren't rays. It's just Scorpio, because Scorpio was a big piece of what happened in the eighth house right here, dealing with other people's money and all these factions and freaking fracks and all of that. So whenever you get your rays, we're looking at the entire cosmos from 30 very specific starseed locations that are linked in to the history of the stars that affect all the rest of them. Almost like the star systems have a bone template. There's different bone template energetics in the star point, so that if there's a massive boom throughout the cosmos, which is what happened, if there's a massive boom, then Orion's going to get activated, Ophiuchus is going to get activated, Sirius is going to get, the Sirius star, that whole constellation system is going to get activated, because that's Lyra is going to get activated, because that's over in Capricorn, and then you're going to have your Arcturus, Libra, Algorab. All those are going to get activated. Why? Because they're attached to the infrastructure of the cosmos that is sending signals to your infrastructure to allow us to project that we're a human down here, and we all have human qualities. We're starting to see those change. That's because we activated all these star systems. So in 2017, what happened is all these star systems started talking to each other. They started talking to each other. So these that are way out here, okay, they're going to have a communication that not everybody's going to have. If you don't have if you don't have Ophiuchus, which is way out Sagittarius, and if you don't have Sirius or any Sirius in your chart, because you do, you might not have the ray to it. You're still in the circle. No, I don't care what you've got. You've still, that circle's going around, and you're still having to alchemize the entire cosmos, because that energy you're channeling and bringing in with the gifts of the activation is what's creating your reality, is what's providing the healing. It's how it works. Those of us who have these way out here in 2017, we all, I mean, a bunch of us have dreams. I mean, I know me and, who was it, Sasha? I don't know if y'all had if you had a dream that you were picked up and your etheric body and held in hyperspace, and if y'all could give me a thumbs up for telling y'all the secret of the cosmos, I appreciate it. If not, then I mean, that's another form of alchemy. So if you're not support, I mean, this is another example, because consciousness isn't everything, right? We're just giving back in the way that we can. And whenever if it's just to like a video, okay, well then I push like, then I'm accepting this knowledge, and then I'm calling in this healing. Otherwise, you're not being part of the process. You're being a voyeur in the process. You haven't made a decision, which can keep you in these circles. And that's just a little example on, I'm not tripping about getting the video worldwide or anything like that. I'm giving you an example of how to link into these currents so that we can keep building them. Because I mean, that was the whole thing. That's what the ones during this that have been hovering over me, because I've had contact with all these. I mean, I'm waiting for somebody to come to knock on my door. I've got names, I've got IP addresses. Y'all want to know who sold the stuff to China? You want to know more information about what's going on in the Biden stuff? You want to know what was hidden in the archives? Astronomy, DNA, genetics, the secret information about which ones of us were hidden here that had these connectors. So in 2017, this big ring activated. Now, this is what starseeds are. This is why we were always hidden down here, because as soon as these activated, if it activated in us, and we're right here, okay. Now, if you happen to be in the United States like me, this is why throughout time everybody was trying to get to the United States. It's the melting pot. Hasn't it seems like everybody's been trying to get to the United States. And then once you get here, what you realize is that you really didn't have any control. You had less control down here in the United States than you did wherever you were, especially if you came from another country that trained you on spirituality, unless you were working with them in whatever low ritualistic stuff they were doing. Even Mecca, that whole Mecca crap. That's very low frequency, locking us. That was, you can basically think of the United States starseeds in that box, because that is the intention, as they all go to their mosque and walk around it in black and white like a clock. That was all to, with intention, with spirit, with their spirits, whatever they conjured, was to keep going in loops. That's a great example. But when they come here and their current is no longer the seal, which it was for the longest time, because we had not activated the whole ring. Boom, 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 boom. It's like this one gets hit, this one gets hit, this one gets hit, this one gets hit. And it only takes one It only takes one person within this consciousness ring to send out a resistance insurgent energy. It only takes one person. Now, I'm also explaining healing, because each of us have different, and we're most of us are still discovering what we're truly healing, and how we're doing it, because a lot of us can't tell you how we're doing it. We've just been guided to the right people to do healings between each other, so that we could see how we changed things and how to keep track of it, so then we could help others. And this is like healer heal thyself, right. We didn't have a lot of time to heal or heal thyself. Those of us who got activated in 2017, it's more like, and realize this, it's more like we descended. Because if you happen to have all star seeds in your chart, like if you happen to have Ophiuchus, and then you've got one of the archangels, and then you've got um see, because Orion was programmed, so I don't want to throw that in there. But I mean, if you have a lot of the outer dimensional starseed things, that means that that's how long, wherever that star was birthed, that's how long your DNA frequency has been here in this realm, your ancestors, and the energy that you can connect into to assist, to protect, whatever. When we, because we also had to connect the Ophiuchus ray to Sirius. I mean, and this is what happened at the eclipse, December 2020. December 2020, because see, this is all connected now, but I'm also backing up to show y'all how each of us, so there's a whole collective of us who activated in this, inside the Milky Way. Maybe you don't have Ophiuchus in Sirius, or maybe you don't have Ophiuchus. Maybe you don't have Fomalhaut. Maybe you don't have the big Pisces, but you have 2 or 3 archangel points. And then you've got a ton of Sirius and a ton of Lyra, okay? Capricorn, Cancer. Then you would activate from the inside. You'd be the spark that came in, boom, on the inside of the bubble. And you're boom, 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 and you're breaking seals, breaking seals, breaking seals. Your body's having to acclimate each seal that you break. Each seal that you break, and this is your third eye, Each seal that you break, you're like this. And I think I talked about that in the last video. Your eyes are open a little bit. You don't realize that your eyes are open in this other gate that you just cleared, because it's not like we get a full report every day. You are now at blank centimeters, like having a baby, because it really is. You're birthing, you're rebirthing. And this is all in the Bible. And this is why it's Christ consciousness. It's Christ. It's your body. It's because that is how the collective set it up. It's cancer. It's why they call it cancer. And cancer don't kill you. Cancer activates all your recessive genes. They named the disease cancer in order to attack the body. You might want to rewind and hear that again. Okay? So as you're coming out, each little layer, you get eyesight. You do. See, and this is what's so cool, is when I do one-on-one body healings, and I can even do these online now. When and others of us do these, and there's going to be way more of us that do them. When I do a body healing and I'm flushing through, I can, like, in my third eye, I just see inside the body. I see the different body parts. Wait, that's like I might see something going like this. I'll give you an example. And everything's kind of grayscaled. It's not like you get a perfect picture of a heart and you've seen a diagram inside a book. No, you're more feeling into it, and you're using your experience and the knowledge that's locked in your neurons that's recalling. And so I see a little flap, and then I just see this flapping, and in my consciousness I'm like, wait, that's not supposed to flap. And then I zoom in on it. If I'm healing somebody, I zoom in on it, and then I just basically in my third eye, I'm staring at it. Tell me what you're doing. Then it'll show me what do I need to do. If there's light language that needs to be said, if I have to do light language, what I'm doing is flipping it, closing it, sewing it. I'm doing something in my healing bubble with this person. When you speak light language, what you're doing is echo phonetics. You're doing echo phonetics. So if I'm doing blood and if I've got to do something heart, then I'm going to have to use a gamma. Like, I'll give you another example. Root chakra, blowing open someone's, they call it kundalini, but that's another word. We need to come up with something else. But it's basically your crystid, your alignment from your seat, your coccyx cable down to here, so that you're getting a perfect ray in order to catch your gumdrop of all these star systems information that's coming to you. When I do those, I've got to, I have to get, and somebody just got that. If you've been wishing for that and you're watching this video, or anybody who just doesn't believe that maybe their cosmic cable is in alignment, claim it, because I just sent out the frequency. If you're getting hot right now, that's what it is. If not, if you don't want any part of it, just don't accept it. Say, I'm just listening. See? But I've got to echo phonetic that inside the chamber. And when I do, the power of that flips it around and activates it. It does. Now, if I'm dealing with the brain, I've got to do it like that, because it has to be really, really, really fast. And that's sometimes whenever you hear people go zzz, if you're working with anybody who's doing light language healings and they're doing Z frequencies, freaking stop. Call me. Email me immediately. I got trapped in this. See, understand that I had healings done to me by healers that had intentions to hold these gates. And of course, I needed to know and I needed to live through it so that I could, with y'all, connect it in a pure state, But that's why all of us that are healers are telling y'all what we're telling you. We're not crazy, far from it. And in fact, we feel, I mean, it's to the point because no one's wanting to listen that we feel like, oh, y'all are crazy. To be honest, the whole world's blowing up. People are killing each other all over the place. Young people just dying out of nowhere. But no, you're going to look at us. We're telling you what's fracking frick. We're telling all of you because we was here to do it. That's also why you can't stop us. Now, I want to say one more thing about this, and I hope this is helping. Woo! I just dropped something back there. Nobody's chatting at all. I got 4 on here that want to stay incognito. And I'm going to keep this up here because I want to talk about where these alignments are with this China balloon. And I'll go into the thing at the end and earmark where I start talking about the China balloon. When we do healings, so in 2017, we had these star systems way out here that activated. Okay, boom. And I'm talking boom, boom. We're talking, 320 light years away. Because I mean, I'm a trillion year star. I mean, we're because this is the last million years of human evolution, and this is what China knows. This is what Russia knows. This is what the Ukraine knows that most of the people don't know, and this is why they're able to move in what you would say was incognito to most of the world the same way they've been doing it this entire time. Not this time. Not this time because you've got this stuff out here called matter. You know how we say it don't matter. Oh, it don't matter. Oh, it always matter. And there's not just. And this is what a lot of people don't want to be conscious because they don't want to have to be conscious. Well, trust me, it's a pain in the butt at the beginning. And all of us old school, I'll call us old school, first waivers, second waivers, that did from way out here, we had some things that we did every single day that we're remembering now to go back and do again, even. Because this is not this star system, this star system, this star system, this star system. When this ring of Ophiuchus, which Ophiuchus, the beginning degrees of Sagittarius, the very beginning, and I put an orb of 0 to 5 on it. If you have anything 0 to 5 degrees of Sagittarius, then you have Ophiuchus 2 energy. Now, if you studied with me before, I had these backwards and I had to fix it. Ophiuchus 2 holds pillars to Scorpio, Scorpio, and to Libra, which, by the way, Scorpio used to be called Eagle. How did an eagle become a scorpion? Lower physics, sedation, sedation in every form of the way to the human race, sedation. Ophiuchus 2 is the consciousness of Ma'at, is what I call it. It's the consciousness of the Pharaoh. If you will, in Egypt, if you want to put in a little bubble all the base roots of the elements, and I'm not talking about any BS spell work. I'm talking about the base root of air, the base root of particle, the understanding of the death and rebirth process, ash to bone, even the star stuff that I'm telling you, cosmic, was the consciousness and the energy that was in Egypt that allowed us to move and build pyramids to perfect centimeters. It allowed us to move pyramids with nothing. It allowed us to do healings. You had ancient mystery schools that only the rich could come to that I'm teaching you. So if you want to like the video and share it, makes your bubble bigger. Now, Ophiuchus 2 is the consciousness of this energetic. Ophiuchus 1 is 20, and I think I've got to 25. I think it's 20 to 25 because I opened up some of these orbs. 20 to 25 degrees of Sagittarius on the other side of Antares. So it's on the other side of those the submarine doors that have the X's and you spin it, because that's, remember, this whole thing's always spinning because you're always spinning, we're always spinning. This is Ophiuchus 1. Now this is the pharaoh. It's the pharaoh. It is the pyramid. It is Giza Plateau. It is Easter Island. Every single artifact, every single dust particle, every single rock that was formed by an ancestor from DNA. So if the giants came down here and died, or if you were put in a pyramid in order to make Shambhala, and you had your 70 whatever days that they did all this spell work on you, realize that what that was spell work in order to hold seals and to make connectors. So if you have Ophiuchus 2 energy, you're the pharaoh, but you're also the pyramid. You're also connected into Easter Island. You're connected into Peru. You're connected into Stonehenge. Your energy frequency, boom, it bellows the whole damn earth. But that don't mean you're conscious. It doesn't mean that you're conscious. It doesn't mean that you're connected into Ophiuchus 2, that you're getting all the right information. And this is what, when I work with people who have a lot of Ophiuchus 2 energy, this is why your life always boom. It's like I don't know how I'm doing it. What is happening? I do this and this changes, but then it's not how I want it or whatever. So that's when you're coming from way out, which is what we did in 2000, started coming back in 2017. Our energy from here had already gone out all across the universe. By the time 2017 came around and we got the call, because that's what happened. If we got a call, did you answer the phone? You might not have been supposed to answer the phone. For those of us who answered the phone, stop yelling at us. Stop saying we don't know what we're talking about. The fact that we're standing here and the fact that this world is where we are right now, although you might consider it chaos, it ain't nothing compared to if you didn't have a dome of us that consciously purified all your planets, that consciously purified Venus, that purified all the Indian killings that were done down here. 2017, 2018, that's all us healers did. That came from way out here. Why? Because we had to get Venus, Mars, Mercury. We had to clear all that up. But first, we had to come in with a full cosmic lineup. It was always, if you want to say this is all light now, and what's over us is just the rest of the dark, because it's actually reversed. Because the whole universe is lit up now. There's signals going off everywhere that's penetrating inside this bubble and outside this bubble. But for those of us, and this is Ophiuchus, I mean, this is 1,000 years of peace. This is what everybody's wanting. It's here. This new energy that we had in Egypt, in Ophiuchus 2, that everybody's wanting to get back to. Everybody's talking about it's Egypt. Well, yeah, it became Egypt again, and then the Amun Ra took over. That's why you have diarrhea. This energy is now the whole thing. See, and this is going to lead into quantum energy. This is when you got to start going and watching shows like Ant-Man and some of the DC stuff to understand what energy Thanos was coming for, what all that was about, and then how that energy has consciousness that's attached to those of us, because once you get it in your body, that's what flushes people. That's what people see. That's what people feel. That's why you're shining. That's why you can push any energy through something. That's how you can alchemize it, because you're utilizing these tools that you already knew, even if you don't have this degree. But you've got ones down here in Cancer, because Cancer is hooked into Sagittarius. Cancer basically would be the Holy Grail, the Essenes, all going back to the biblical characters, the true names, the true queens, all that mess. All that mess trickled from Sagittarius down to Cancer, because Cancer is what ended up being, because the body's in water. You are water. You're the body's in water. It's not in fire. It's forged by fire. This goes back to Anana and Dimitri stuff too. And what's her name? Enoch. Even Enoch and those type things. Creator gods, even. Because that's what you're becoming. You're becoming a creator god down here. It's what you always should have been. It's your right to be here on this planet and create with your good intentions, with your good deeds. In the Bible, it says, do unto others and it'd be done to you. The problem was they figured out a way to not make that happen through these seals. So this is why bad people kept doing bad stuff and not getting in trouble for it. But understand, they were having to do a lot of manipulation and a lot of black magic, or give up freedoms in other way to get with groups that could control it, so that they could keep doing bad things to good people by placing the karma on one of us. Because, see, they quickly realized by 2020 and 2021, they quickly realized that when we do a healing, no, because I'm fixing to get to these spy balloons. Because Looking Glass, projects like Looking Glass, Project Philadelphia, all the Black Ops stuff, the Magic 12, the whole Dark Side of the Moon, Elon Musk, NASA, all that mess. Even science, because science is spirituality. It's just physics. It's Science is going to break it up, break it up, break it up. Spirit's going to have to put it back together, put it back together, put it back together. But since the manipulation of physics and the teachings that we learned down here, that a number was a quantity and that was it, and you got to go to the doctor, and only this will save your life, and nobody has the gift to heal somebody. What are you talking about? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's what nurses do. That's what doctors do. They take an oath. They take an oath in a bubble to share that current, just like us healers do in the hires. But we don't need medicine, because we know pharmaceuticals are doing what I'm doing. Our pharmaceuticals are going, okay, we know that if you have this thyroid problem, then this pill is going to make your thyroid do this, this, and this, and this. And it's going to get really specific, and it's going to tell you what it's going to do. Okay, they're doing the same thing I'm telling you to do by getting a glass of water. Go read up on what thyroid's supposed to do, how it's supposed to work. Go even look up the thyroid medicine. Go see what it says it's doing. Now go get you a glass of water. Tell that water to do it. Drink it every day. See what happens. I met a guy 2018 on this journey here in Dallas, because, I mean, who we've met in the past 4 years is who needed to come in to our world to clear a bubble. See, that's the difference in clearing and healing. each one of us got to a stage, and even characters that I've met, and I've been nothing but truthful and honest on my channel about every single, you know, not always to say that I was right in every way, but now, because I'm coming off my journey, meaning I'm no longer a ball spinning around throughout the cosmos having to attract the right being that's activated enough, that had some of these seals in their, or curse. It could be a curse, it could be a seal, but it didn't matter, because we were all here to break those curses, break those seals, okay? And this is especially, and I mean, and here we go back to Sag again, because I mean, hell, you got all that mummification spell work on your butt if you're in Sagittarius, right? Scorpio is going to be how to maneuver the wave above your head, which is where Venus is right now in Pisces. This is why it's going to get bumpy for a minute. I'll talk about that here at the end. It's going to get bumpy for a minute just because of where Venus is going through out there. Because why? There wasn't very many people with eyes out there. In fact, the whole thing was to keep you sedated so that you couldn't see what's going on out there. Well, those of us who, that's the first place we activated. I mean, for 3 years, I couldn't close my eyes without seeing Venus, Saturn, something. Jupiter had a thing, we had to move it. I mean, that's what the creatrix was in 2018. All of us, Rh negatives, that activated the recessive genes that were held away from you in this dimension, that were connected to these mega star systems to put you back into alignment, had been dormant in your body. When it activated, then it, now whoever comes in your reality, there's no good or bad, whoever comes in, your, and especially your initial, yay, thank you for messaging. I know y'all are live and not bots, right? Because out at that Pisces level, that is what China's doing right now too. Now, I kind of lost track because I saw that. Misha is a great example. Misha and I met, and then even Anaheim team. When we met, our to clear this, our consciousness had us meet because our DNA lines were able to clear whatever. This is what Scorpio is all about. If you've got a lot of Scorpio in your chart, you're here to remember and do what I'm telling you right now. It's all about ancestral magic, or pharmaceuticals, or doctors, or spirit, or religious. I mean, because only the ones who have the keys to undo it are the ones it was done to. You can't uncoil a top that doesn't have the directions to the spin. So through, when you're on your journey, which I just came off mine, and so there's a bunch though, and I'm starting a new one with Saturn because of everything that I've done the past 7 years and not got involved with, and took the hard way, not the easy way. Let everybody scream at me when I knew I was right, then went and cried about it because I'm human, right? You can't undo it unless you have the keys inside you from the DNA, which is what the vaccinations, the COVID test, all that's about, because they want to know what your subsequence is. They want to know what they already have. They got everybody's DNA. Well, they know that 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, blank, blank, whenever they run it through their little blah, 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 that gives a blank, then they know, because they've been doing this a long time, then they know that you're attached to this being over here, and this being over here, and this being over here. Which one's the easy target? This one's conscious, this one's not. So let's go for this one. If we can go for this one and we can mess with this one's heart, we can mess with this one's power, then we'll just bring down the whole ray. That's how they've been doing it. That's how they've been doing it. Not anymore. Because before 2017, all the energy and power was inside the bubble with manipulation going on the outside of the bubble. Now all the power is on the outside of the bubble until you heal to hold it. Now, if you happen to be someone who accidentally found yourself in groups of people that led you astray, you were there in order to flip it now. Nobody, if you happen to end up with a Hollywood contract and you just signed your soul away, even though everybody around you was warning, but you could not see it, and you happen to sign the contract and now you're going through it, you can change that in a heartbeat. But you have to stop changing your reaction to what's going on. A healing, when you get a healing, your energy, because I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of mastery in order to get it, to connect it in here, flush it through your body, and then hit a current way out there to drop the illusions so that you could really intuit what was really money, what was the phonetic magic in the contract, how are you acting 3D thinking that you're going to be a billionaire now and you're just going to I don't know, get a Nike brand and you're going to get an endorsement, and I mean none of that, but then realize if you have no spiritual path and if you have no healer on your teams, then everyone's going to get sick because you're processing their energy, and none of us are going to want to have anything to do with you until you start listening, because you're here to teach us things and we're here to teach you things. It's all we know certain things about this healing process that there ain't no way in heck that y'all could know, but then y'all know all this stuff that's been going on the past 4 years because you've been in it that we have no idea. We're still connected in it. We're in this big cylinder. We're still feeling it. But this is where also fans are, man. Only fans and fans only. Get out of it. Don't allow any of these celebrities to call you a fan. Don't make yourself a fan. Realize that what that is fanning whatever their corporate sponsors are, whoever's trying to make money off you, off a celebrity, whatever. See, this whole thing that happened in the whole Instagram thing in the past 3 years with these false twins. They were setting up powerhouses, certain characters that were assigned by entertainment, then went out and were picking us up and putting us in holding cells, basically, and having us fan them with healings, words, focus, convincing us that they loved us, convincing us that it was really them, and then getting our mind confused to where we were literally manifesting famous people instead of you. No matter why we were doing it, it's what happened. Now, that is how powerful healings are. Now, here's the problem. Fans only people, Nigeria, China. You're experiencing it now. Everybody's dying. What y'all did was a bunch of clearings, but you didn't do any healing. This is why you hear people say, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to. You can't put it off on your daughter, because the AU, the women, we hold space. We literally do. We hold space. So whenever our bodies come down here, we're 9 dimensions out. The man's not. Our body holds more memory. So whenever we clear this and we're lining this whole thing back up, you as the being that's controlling the bubble, whether you're doing it like me from the collective to put the consciousness out there, or you're doing it from a lower timeline in order to drum up a promotion for a celebrity or something, without the consent of the people. Like, I mean, it'd be fine if you came and told everybody, I'm taking all your sexual energy away. I'm locking you down in a mental freaking synopsis, psychic, to where now I'm controlling your brain and you're going to give all your energy and all your money energy and all your creations to this being. If they told you that and you said, okay, then it is what it is. If they didn't tell you that, which they didn't. If they didn't tell you that and then they went and did that, right now you can flip it on them just like that. We're doing it. We're doing it right now. Those fans are going to blow for us. And we're blowing healing back onto those people. And we're giving whoever was in these little boxes with us, because it's a bunch of us divine feminines, a bunch of us. This is why I got so mad at Aluna Ash. Whether or not Aluna Ash knew what she did was take an entire collective of twin Cancer Union females to Discord. What she did was took them all out here to a cyber net to be fished. And they didn't get connected in here. That's what she did. Because she saw and she knew, she sent me the $300. She sent me the email. So there's a lot of back stuff that was going on in order for her to get the power to reach as many people as she did. See, that was contracted. That was contracted for her to do that. It was contracted for her then to send us, the different ones of us, different portions of the beings that came to her first, because you heard her first. Why? She was closer to the frequency of the Milky Way. All of us that were deep in shadow and deep in stars, we couldn't reach all first. She could. That's why she got that position. This is mastery. I'm not even mad at her. There was a bunch of stuff with this technology that we're still figuring out. But no matter, the fact is, what she did when she did it is put everybody in a cyborg, basically. Because those connections of the one or two, because there was only, this is why on that channel I did full starionomy readings, which used to take me 6 hours for $70. And I got an influx of people from her group. That's why I did it. I was contracted at a soul level to do it, even though it bankrupted me in a lot of ways. It took me a lot of time to recover because I did so many so quick, but I had to, because each one of y'all that were in those groups that came over from there, you were contracted to do it and to open up to force a change from the outside and inside without that group during the specific alignments that were happening at that time that could never be redone. So then we had to figure out another way to get out. So in a lot of ways, what happened was that door shut. If you were on the inside, you stayed on the inside. If you was on the outside, you stayed on the outside. If you were in the ring of discord, now how you stop that is to just be conscious that that's what it was and command for it to let go, release, cut. That's a clearing. So if if you, because we all, pieces of us were stuck in these layers no matter if you came from right. I'm just giving you an example of how accidentally, and those of us fumbling through this, On this layer right here, at this Discord layer, meaning the tech layer, the layer that not a lot of humans were active in, it was more an energy gate, Wi-Fi, the signal current. You didn't have a being that was standing in the middle of it or that was processing through. You did, because it's how it was there. I mean, because it's all made from us humans. But when we were unconscious to what technology was and how technology manifests, because all you're doing is programming air and putting a value on a character, just like Bill Gates. That's what they did. They locked themselves in a garage, said, this is what this is. Now, trust me, C means something else inside the Illuminati. But Bill Gates, that's what they did. That's what all computer programs. See, I was in the computer industry 24 years, high end, in the middle of the ExxonMobil deal, SAP all day long. That's why I understand this from a physics perspective, because when you get in these outside layers of technology, it's all air and code. I mean, even Elon Musk just put something out. It's like, yeah, you can change your manifestation. You just encode it. And it has a picture of a DNA strand. Well, I cut anything that Elon Musk bonded. That's a cutting. That's a clearing. Whenever we have the power to clear it, now it cuts it. Now this bubble is going to go, woo! This bubble is going to go, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's going to cut. Now you've got to heal. Now's where the healing starts. This is because now this bubble down here, if you, even though you didn't know, I didn't know me talking about artificial intelligence was going to make a freaking race of beings that took over the world, but it did, and I had to deal with it. Healing. I had to take responsibility for what was coming out of my mouth, what I had been doing in the tech world. I thought I was just getting people jobs. I thought I was helping them. I mean, people liked me. I was very successful in what I did. But I was leading them to the damn slaughter. Now I know. I have to deal with that. I have to make adjustments on that because I just cut it. So my energy, whether it was helping me or not, now doesn't have it. I cleared it. I cut it. Now that channel is open. But what was happening is a bunch of beings were jumping in that channel by sitting in their room all day and doing light language or getting injections or covering. I mean, I had some people I stayed with, they had plastic all over the floors. I mean, any possible way that they could get their frequency high enough. Mushrooms, people take mushrooms, people want to do, it's so crazy. I'd meet people on this journey and they'd want to take mushrooms around me. It's like, what the hell? No, I don't do that. If I took a mushroom, my consciousness is already way the hell out of there. Like, no. You don't need the mushroom. You don't need the weed. In fact, weed lowers it. It lowers it. For a lot of us, the reason that we have to smoke THC is to lower our brain to your consciousness so that we don't keep creating further out than you already don't understand. It's just going to be worse for y'all. Now, all of this 7335 is all about why we've got this China balloon floating around. China. Who was out talking about this? Think back at who's been laying this. China, it has that balloon up there because what it's doing is surfing the Discord. And they told you, because my mom, Martha, she's becoming, we've done a lot of healing with my family for me to even be able to stay here right now. If you understood my full story of the healing, and this is a lot of y'all too, we've had to heal our family lines, every single person around us, even and now the family members around, since it's been going on for so long, are starting to see that we were right and that we know what's going on far deeper even though we can't explain it all. But she was in a havoc yesterday because they're still in the defense systems. They're still in the defense systems. Well, yeah, but your body defense, your virus defense. This is also why January 6th, I'll say it again, I got the January 6th download on all this. It came to me, not the president. But when it did, it cut the force field that was around the White House. They knew it was going to happen on the 6th. I got the download 2019. The group, because it happened way out here. January 6th, 2019. So guess what? January 6th is the day marker when it's going to go lower and lower. I mean, because we went all the way. If you go all the way out to the end of the bubble in the Milky Way, you're going to get to the 55th dimension. But that's going to connect to the 10th. If you know what you're doing and break it down to binary, and you happen to have binary in your system, then you can get it back to 020. If you get it back to 02 and 0, then you're on the third dimension, because that's first dimension, second dimension, third dimension. This is the Trinity stuff. This all goes back to Tesla numbers and physics. But 1001, the twin codes, 1001 is really 020. Stop thinking it's 1001. You don't want one on the first dimension, one on the fourth, with two spaces in the middle, because that's what a zero is. It's a space. What's technology? 101010. What was the big deal with 2000 clicking over from 1999? I'm telling you. Space. Whenever you do 020, the second dimension is inside the body. It ignites inside the body. It's not from the ash. It's not from the DNA. It's not changing the template. That's first dimension. The second dimension is an implant, a virus, an organ inside the body, planted. Third dimension is where it's coming out of it to engage with the third dimension to make it real. Whenever you are walking at the 5D, you're making it real at the 5D. Where are you getting that from? 16. You're getting it from the 16th dimension. What's that? One dimension over, Giza. You've got the Isis chamber. You've got the Osiris chamber. Osiris goes out to Orion, Alpha Drac. Isis goes to Rigel, Sirius. And then they put one new little chamber straight out to Zeta Reticuli, which is why they're not even in my book. They're not in any Zetas. You will not see anywhere in Cohu 32. I call it hybrid. And I took their power away. They will not be in history by any damn means. And actually, the Pleiadians is not real either. It's a birthing channel, and Andromedans aren't really real. It is real to certain consciousnesses. I'm not saying it never existed. I'm saying that it's a false representation of a starseed in order to hold down the sedation. So that Chinese balloon, what it's doing is floating around, and it is spying on you. It's recognizing the codes. It's like a big facial recognition system with DNA, and it's plotting to see where certain ones of us are charging and reacting. But it's doing it from way out there in the tech consciousness that most people, but Elon, who said, oh, you can just encode it. Well, we command right now that these balloons belonging to whomever, or any type of aircraft, or any type of moving object above our star system and above our dome, especially in the United States, be used for us and not against us. Anything that the enemy sends, we command that it work for us, because nothing will be used against the evolution of humanity and the allowance of each person to prosper down here without having to pay somebody off for any right ever again. So we command that as long as you keep those in our skies, then what they're doing is magnetizing all the stolen DNA codes and all the siphoned energy, and we command that it go back to the purified beings that have cleared space to hold it, and there is no backpack sequence that can deliver it to any being but that who holds the root. And we command that in the next 36 hours, those rays be delivered back to every single one of us, including all the space. And so it be, and so it see, and so it is. I've got 8028. I just saw 8028. So that's 8001. So that's 900. And I'll close with this one final thing, because in each layer, and somebody asked me this yesterday, in each layer, you're going to have different ways to communicate with those layers once your eyes get wide open. So up here, I'll give you an example for me. When my eyes opened up here in the cosmos, okay, I could see the planets. I was doing stuff and maneuvering stuff, but everything up there that I was doing had to be changed by me down here by light language and knowledge. Because the light language, like I told y'all earlier, is an echo phonetic. And so when I would do it, then that's when I'd see things moving, twirling, and with my mind, I was guiding the light language. So this is why a lot of us were doing so much light language, or that you're even doing it now, realize, because I mean, you could be just now clearing up to that point because you cleared down here first and we're coming down. You know what I mean? Where it's all going to balance up. This layer underneath it, which we would, like these two layers, we could call the matrix. And that has to do more with what the Antichrist was, which is technology, because technology is stars. This is why China thinks that they know the most about astronomy, but it's bullshit. They're just doing tech astronomy. And all they did was create a simulation in tech merged with astronomy in order to keep a dome over the entire world and universe through technology. So when I say to say it out loud or command it in this layer, whenever you're activated in this layer, it is how you deliver it. I command, because you just walked into a wall, but you don't see the wall. But in this layer, there is one. So you command the wall to move. Boom. That wall comes down throughout the whole thing. Now, something might happen. Phone might ring. Somebody might show up at the door. All of a sudden, a siren goes off. You just cut something. Now it's got to readjust. You're gonna feel it in your world. Now, this is also why you have to say it, because at this layer, the consciousness is moving around. Just like I can move the planets in the cosmos with light language and with the right knowledge. You understanding this knowledge is what breaks these matrix grids and breaks this stuff, even for the collective. But that is why you have to say it out loud. Sometimes you have to type it. Sometimes you've got to do both. Sometimes I need to get on here and say it. I need to call it in with my crew. And then other ones I'm going to have to type it to them. Because why? Their energy is tuned in as a beacon to ones that are picking it up on typing. Even we've got to type it in so that there's a record of it for the CIA and the feds that are all watching our data, because this is all about telecom and satellites and AT. I mean, realize they're watching everything. If they want to watch, they can watch. It's everywhere. You can't not. You're on galactic TV. It is what it is. But we have had to learn how to put boundaries up and shield ourselves from that in the past 4 years, which is what you learn a lot of here. What you learn on here with Cohu 32 is how to activate that. Once you get into those rays, it's how to maneuver them, because each energetic is different. There's others that'll tell you from the low frequency, they were taught, don't say it out loud, the devil's going to hear you. Don't say it out loud. You got to pray in your head. That's true too. Depending on what layer that you're in, sometimes you'll be like, I can't say it out loud, Chestia. I don't know why. Well, realize if you think you can't say it out loud, it's because you're still in one of those areas that's so dense and so sedated that if you do, it hits you right back in your face. Well, what do you need to do to pull up out of it? So that, because the next layer is you've got to say it out loud. So I'm not even telling you to say it out loud if you know you can't. What I'm saying is that each layer is going to have a different way for you to break the seal. And when you do, it's got to process through your physical body. Whatever changes come up, whatever feelings come up, whatever pains come up, whatever illness you think, mucus coming out, whatever that is, realize that it's processing this space that you think is nothing in your whole bubble connected to everybody else's bubbles that are connected to you. That's what you're clearing. That space. If you have not healed, and if you are walking on a 33 Illuminati parallel, or if you were using any type of gang stalking or any type of groups in order to attack, if you had secret quantum codes, if you named yourself ASP or ASAP, or you named yourself this, using quantum codes meant for angelics to jump in to these things so that we didn't get to this point that we are in now, the only way to do it is to make amends. Only way to do it is to make amends to the one that you know that you took it from, and cut all energy or whatever it is that you think that you're getting from whatever it is that they've convinced you that you have to have, because all you're doing is processing an entire lot from hell through angelic's energy. And mama, daddies, babies, don't do that. There's a lot things worse in this realm than jail and death. You put us through it by manipulating these currents of our mind, and by manipulating consciousness, by ganging up groups against us, knowing in our full spirit that we were here in order to heal the world, so that artificial intelligence in China couldn't move in on the United States, send us all to our rooms, rape your women, and impregnate your wives, because that's what they's coming for. Right now, Mercury, this is another reason they put it up where they put up these balloons right now. And I gotta have a little nicotine. It's 8820. Thank y'all for being here. Please share this message too. I know that I just start chatting and I'm teaching and explaining as much as I can what we've learned, because that's what this is all about. And me doing this protects me from what's coming next week for me. Some things I've got to deal with, I've got to walk through, I've got to just dig my heels in, put out my good frequency, knowing that I haven't done anything to hurt anybody. I'm not asking for anything to happen to anybody either. I'm not commanding things happen to people. I'm commanding that their energy be cut from mine, and for them to balance so that they can get out. Because if this closes in 2032 completely and you haven't got out, a 1,000,000-year count, you're going down. No consciousness. None. For those of us who got activated way out from the stars, you can basically say that's what happened to us last time. We missed the plane 1,000,000 years ago. Oh no, hey, are you in Houston? No, I'm in Dallas area right now, but I'm in Texas. What's up, Herschel? Herschel was a healing that came in. Just we only had a couple of little meetings. We met up at this one spirit shop. He happened to be there right when I walked in, and we actually undid some stuff having to do with some ancestral organizations. And quick three little meetings. Lyra Mercury's in Lyra 2. And Lyra 2 is all about alchemy. Lyra 2 is on each side of Vega. These are all the rays. These are all the rays. So when you get your coloring book, what I'm showing y'all, and you can do it yourself, and I'm going to start doing videos. The more of y'all that buy them and do them that way, they're starting to pick up again. Thank you, because this really, what this does is this tunes you. When you get your star seed points, what it does is it pulls you out of the Milky Way and the planet control system that China's doing with stars and planets with NASA, just by doing it. I don't care if I ever talk to you again. Because what's going to happen is then it's going to whoop, and then you're going to be sent to who is there to talk to you. This is Spirit says when you're ready, the teacher will come. Boom. A lot of these, y'all are supposed to just do the coloring book, and then there's mounds of healers that are working like me on prices and money to get this out to the masses that have your answers. It might not be me. A lot of you, it is me. And it's quick little body things and it's quick little brain things. And what I'm doing is teaching y'all how to deprogram, and then how the months and the days really work, how the cuttings work, how do those come into your life, which I want. My next video is going to be after the healing, after the cutting, the cosmic surfing, how to help keep track of that. Because in our human life we want to think, oh, it's over. No, it just got started. See, and this is what I had to learn. Big time, big time, big time, big time, big time. Now, what was I saying? Lyra 2. See, Lyra 2 is yellow and green. And this is Capricorn. So this is the beginning degrees of Capricorn, Lyra 1. And Lyra 1 is the original root race from a million years ago. If you have DNA from the original root races of anything, root race of a mammal, root race of an amoeba, root race of an aquatic animal, root race of the politics, root race of the Illuminati, that's around 5 degrees Cap. Anything, concept, a human, Enoch, I keep wanting to say Nibiru, but it's not Nibiru. It's Enoch's mom. Enoch and in-laws, whatever. That's right here at the beginning degrees of Lyra 1. Why? Because it's channeling the heart of the collective. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from the original heart. That, if you have 0 to 9 degrees Capricorn, anything in your chart, you have this. If you have this, realize anything that you think is going out to this outer Milky Way television screen and beaming down to everyone else. Your creations go way far out, and then they have to come back to you. But you change the politics, and you change the current and the understanding of the entire human race once you make up your mind and you hold your mind steady and you don't allow anything to change your mind. But be careful what, not to judge anything, because it's going to come back on you faster. But it's all air, it's tech, and it's massive. Then it beams down once it hits the body. That's what Lyra 2 is. Lyra 2 is your Ireland. Lyra 2 is your witches, your magicians. We call them that. I know we hate that word, but all that really is that this energy is now going through your body into Vega. This is Vega. Starts at 11:55 Capricorn. It goes to 15:55 Capricorn. And then Lyra 2 is on the other side up till 20, 15:55 to 20, to catch it. So basically, if I'm going to make an apple into a bird, then I'm going to rely on this bubble to secure the bubble to, and then through my body and through my consciousness and through the blood of the collective, I'm going to change that apple to a bird. Lyra 3 starts at 20 degrees of Capricorn. Lyra 3, I call it the Trinity degree. It's where all of those bubbles line up. Because if I birth one way out here, and this is the amoeba, and then this one holds the water, and then this one holds this, realize that when you're done with Lyra 1, you've got like 9 rings. Now you've got to bridge that over into the blood, into the body, because Vega's hooked into Cancer. Vega's hooked into the physical body. So now I'm going to bridge it through my body, and then poof, it's going to come out the other side something else. Well, when I get to Lyra 3, I got to deal with every single one of those bubbles that anybody else in Lyra has ever even dealt with. That's why I call it the Trinity degree, because it's like you got the werewolf stuff, changeling. Your body's going to change. You're going to change. You can control it. You've got the witch degrees. You've got the alchemy, because you can move it all the way through. And you've got the knowledge from Lyra 1, because Lyra 1's the one who made the original bubble. So once you clear out, you're in the Lyra 1 energy, whether you have it or not. This is where the 2020 Pluto-Saturn conjunction was, 20 degrees of Capricorn, which then is what is projected into what? Aquarius. We're not in the Aquarius age. Stop saying it. In fact, I put a halt on anybody trying to say that we're in the Aquarian age. No, we're not. We're in the age of Sagittarius, the one so far out that it has never been replicated, because this is how the Aquarian age was done. False projections put on pixels. Telly. That is why they have the balloon up right now. Because Mercury's channeling all of that, with the moon just got out of Cancer and just went into Leo, penetrating all the mammals. Uranus just got to 15 again. Now we're dealing with the 1500s again. This is where all the crazy Vatican marriages and all the royal marriages and all this stuff that they were praying was going to hold in a seal that the Vatican set up in order to control us this long by their false marriages and their mixing of races and all this mess. We cleared it back to way further than 1500. That's why the past couple of weeks has been so rough for us, because we were in the 1400s and there weren't very many of us that were fully conscious that we were clearing the 1400s, except for the ones praying 15 was going to stick. That is why they're up there right now. So I hope this helps. If you want a color, just email me. And what I do is I text you back. If you want to email me at officialchastiacav, officialchastiacav@gmail.com, and I can either send one of these directly out to you and we can talk about it, or I've been doing them for y'all and mailing them to you, because I don't want to put it in tech. I want you to have it in your physical. I'm not even doing drawn charts anymore, because I don't want it in the tech database. This is your information, not somebody else's to know how to control you. This is your control. This is you understanding yours. And what this, and it really, I mean, because I write it all out for you. This is how you can do it yourself, because it's really simple. It follows you along so that you have kind of like, if you will, a journal Bible of your natal chart. And really, it'd be good to have. We'll get into draconic and progressed, and because there's only 3 charts that we look at in total over here to live a cohu life. Natals first and foremost. And then what it does is it ends up drawing arrays like this. This is a chart that somebody's energy raised. And if you notice, like, she's a mega archangel. See, she's got the entire archangel cross right here. And then it goes out to these and beams straight up. And this is what I'm talking about whenever you see your Da Vinci energy code. Once you understand, and this has this chart on the back, which gives you all the colors and the degrees and how to pull your chart. So with just this, whether I do it for you or send it home, send it without and you do it at home, you have all of this. You can pull everybody's charts, and anybody's, right? Because I'm giving you the keys to activate. This activates them. And then you'll have your own energy ray system. This is your natal. It's not necessarily where you are right now. Your progressed is going to tell you where you are right now.
Sorry, y'all. My phone died. So I'll end the feed right here. My phone died. I was typing in from my dad's computer. But where that space is in between your rays, just remember that's the houses you've mastered. There's those energy sequences that are in your body connected into the infrastructure of the star seeds that's already connected and holding you up. Those spaces in between are the most important with the alchemy and how you're getting the information all the way through the wheel. And then that's going to tell you how you're picking up information and what has happened as you start understanding each one of those rays, because each one of those rays has life lessons. There's only 32 programs down here. Each one of those rays have life lessons. They're at different densities. And now that the Star Collective has come out of each one with a ladder, every single one, I don't care where you were trapped, we have got out of every single etheric stronghold all the way out to Ophiuchus. So as soon as you tune up, you're going to be shown how to get out. It's not all pleasant, but it's in a higher frequency, and a lot of it can be done in dream space, and it doesn't have to be lived out in your life, which is what China and the government want to happen. You can do it in the ethers. You can solve and clear your genetic stuff and get out of whatever bubble you've been accidentally put into so that you could see that you could get out. Because if you're in one, that's the only reason you're in it, is to see that you can get out. Heal or heal thyself. We need all of you. You're connected into us. Ask for Chastia's information if you want downloads. You can pull it in. You can connect with the Cohu crew. That's what we're building over here. And this is an interactive brand. This is going to be in your homes everywhere, just like these curtains behind me. Every single thing has consciousness that you put up around you. And we put the collective consciousness in because we understand the knowledge. We understand the colors. And as soon as you get that new deck of cards from that modality person that built it, you feel it. That's because you feel all of the information that went into making that picture. What was the point? Email me, officialchastiacav@gmail.com. We can make it work on any budget. Okay? My stuff right now is all under $100 and even lower. If you're just buying the book, it's going to be about $35 because shipping, I'm trying to figure out shipping the best way. If you want to buy bulks of them and sell them, this is all devised to make you money too. I have everything done on reseller value to where we're making the same amount of money for you to start doing these and selling them as well. So just email me if you resonate. Now's the time. The call just went out.